all the little things right here when it matters the most. Tonight, they hope to continue flipping the script and frustrating Pujols and the Angels in the process. Round 2 of an early season American League West showdown next. Tonight from Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California, Root Sports brings you Houston Astros baseball as the Astros meet the Angels in Game 2 of this 4-game series. Last night, a quiet Astros offense rallied in the 9th for the victory. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby and Jeff Blum with you here this evening. Nice victory last night. And Preston Tucker in his Major League debut played a nice role in the 9th inning.
Yeah, he gets a start against a left-handed pitcher, which I thought was impressive of AJ to do, but then he comes up big with that game-tying hit later in the game.
Yeah, it was a good 9th inning for the ball club. It had been very quiet as we said up until that point. A night like that, when you're able to come from behind in the 9th inning, what does that mean for a club?
It means a lot. We knew this was going to be a big series, but our T-Mobile game changer is the Astros West Coast magic in the 9th inning that we've been talking about. These guys strung together some hits, and they knew it was a big series to take from these Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, knowing they're in second place, to maintain that lead in the West. But it was right there. Preston Tucker, with his Major League debut last night, comes through with a big hit, tying that ball game last night. And, of course, our own Mr. Hustle, Jose Altuve, just a lousy ground ball, but you can see the hustle is what wins that ball game, and you can see how it energized that dugout as they finished off that game last night, winning the first game on this road trip.
Coming up, the Astros have been happily burning the midnight oil on the West Coast this season, and much of their success is coming in crunch time. Kevin Eschenfelder explains why it isn't wise to fall asleep on the Stros when we return.
Game 2 of this 4-game series. First pitch coming up in just a couple of minutes. Now, we understand that these West Coast games, they start late, but, you know, what the Astros have been able to do late in games may be worth staying up late for, because whether it's been this road trip or on this series or the road trip before, the Astros just getting it done late. It seems like everyone gets into the act, whether it's guys like Valbuena with a home run, or the big man, Gaddis, slapping a double to center field against Oakland to come up with a game winner late. And everybody, last night was just a microcosm of what they've been able to do. They go into the 9th inning. They only have 2 hits all night long and being shut out in the process, but they explode for 3 runs on 4 hits in that 9th inning, and the Astros go on to win it. But that's been the rule rather than the exception for this team. That leads us to tonight's League Leaders, brought to you by Honda, your local Honda dealer. You look at the numbers, what the Astros have been able to do. Look at the batting average, 7th inning or later. Look at the on-base percentage, outscoring their opponents 42-16, and they played long ball as well, out-homering their opponents after the 7th inning on the road, 8-1. So there you go. It's worth staying up late for. If you want to see the Astros come away with their 8th straight win, they got the longest road winning streak going for this club since 2001. Jared Weaver's getting ready to throw that first pitch. I'll pitch it upstairs to Alan Ashby and Jeff Blum. Guys?
Thanks a lot, Kevin. And how about this one, Blummer? When the Astros score 4 or more runs this year, they are 16-0. Pretty phenomenal mark.
Pretty incredible, yeah. You got to say, I thought they would stay up for us. I thought that's where Ashenfelter was going with that, because we're on the broadcast on the road this late at night.
I thought that was a given.
Us. Well, it's a bonus to watch these Astros go out and demolish teams on the road and win these games late.
I think Blummer nailed that one. Tonight's starting lineup for the Astros is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. And that lineup for A.J. Hinch, Jose Altuve in the top spot, followed by Luis Valbuena and Evan Gaddis. The middle 3 in the order, Colby Rasmus, Chris Carter, and Jason Castro. And the bottom 3, Jake Marisnick, Preston Tucker, who had that major league debut last night, and a big hit in the 9th inning, and then Jonathan Villar in the 9th spot.
On the mound for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, it'll be Jared Weaver, longtime Angel. He's making his 272nd start of his career, which ties him with Mike Witt for 3rd place all time for the Angels. He locked horns with Roberto last time out there in Houston. Pitched quite well, even though his numbers on the season aren't that great. Went 6 innings, giving up 2 earned runs. A lot of concern about the velocity on Jared Weaver's fastball. Averages on his career about 89 miles an hour. Average velocity on his fastball this season, 84 miles an hour.
Pretty amazing. I kind of feel like, and I don't know, I haven't seen every game with the Angels, obviously, but I thought the last couple of years the velocity was starting to drop off enough that it was a bit alarming for Jared Weaver. But he kept winning ball games, and I guess bottom line, that is the end result that everybody's looking for. So Jared Weaver set to work it. He'll face Jose Altuve here. The Astros start the night at 19-10, 6 games in front of the 2nd place LA Angels of Anaheim. 6.5 back are the Texas Rangers, Oakland, and Seattle, 7.5 back. So that's where it all begins. A little bunt, 3rd base side. This is going to be really tough. It'll be a bunt single for Jose Altuve. 1 pitch in, Altuve has himself a knock.
Well, he led off last night's ball game with a knock. Tonight he does the same thing. First pitch. Couldn't have placed it any better. Ex-Astro farmhand Carlos Perez is the only one that was near that to make an effort at it.
I don't think you could drop a bunt down in a better spot right there. And talk about good things going on. 61 degrees here, delightful for game time. Pretty much the way they do it in Southern California. There goes Altuve. The pitch is high. The throw down is close, and they got it. A great, strong throw from the catcher. And that just is not the way the Astros saw this thing starting tonight. Perfect throw from Perez, former Astros farmhand.
Be interesting to see that a little bit closer replay if we can. Altuve. Good call. Great call.
Well, that's about as bang-bang as it gets in a perfect call. So 1 out on the caught stealing. And that's a rarity for the Astros. They have run so well as a club. And, of course, Jose Altuve leading the league in stolen bases. It has been pretty much a phenomenon. 36 bags. This is the 7th time they've been caught this year.
That's not going to stop him either. He's going to keep running. Got to test the young catcher and Carlos Perez and see what he's got. This time he was up for it.
And we mentioned that Carlos Perez came out of the Astros system, involved in a trade with the Angels, the Hank Conger trade. And he has become a sudden hero in Anaheim. Had a game-winning home run in his major league debut on Tuesday night. 3 balls and 1 strike. Luis Valbuena at the plate, 0 for his last 11. 194 batting average for Valbuena. He drills one up the middle. That's a base hit. So both hitters have come up with hits against Jared Weaver. And again, part of that concern that the Angels and their fans have about their big right-hander.
Take a look at how the Angels will line them up here at the Big A. Matt Joyce out there in left. Mike Trout, of course, in center. Cole Calhoun in right. Left side of the infield, David Freese and Eric Ibar. Crosses on the other side, Johnny Giavotella, Albert Pujols, and Carlos Perez, who we already saw in action. We'll be working with the veteran Jared Weaver.
1 out on the caught stealing of Altuve. Evan Gattis at the plate, 0 for his last 6. He's the DH this evening. And he takes outside. Gattis with a number of big swings for the club. And he has endeared himself to his teammates. Hard worker, very engaged fella in trying to get the job done. Fastball on the hands is popped up on the infield. Pujols with the call. He'll put it away, and out number 2. And that'll bring up Colby Rasmus. Rasmus playing in right field. He's the cleanup hitter tonight. And there are good reasons there. Colby's been swinging a good bat. On top of that, Jared Weaver has been lit up by left-hand hitters this year. Mentioned, by the way, that Altuve is leading the league in stolen bases, tied with 11 with Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury now with the Yankees. George Springer just 1 back at 10. Jake Marisnick has 9. 1 ball and no strikes. And a strike on the outside edge. Shift on, 3 infielders on the right side. Colby just almost never hits a ball to left field other than in the air.
Look at where he's standing. That back foot is at the point of the plate. He is creeping closer to Jared Weaver. You'll do that sometimes as a hitter. If a guy's not throwing very hard and you're not intimidated by his velocity, you'll creep closer to him and try and create a little more velocity if you're a good fastball hitter like Colby Rasmus is.
That 19-10 record for the Astros that we mentioned, the best start in franchise history through 29 games, matching 4 other clubs through the years. So tonight's game, number 30 on the year. Curveball is popped up. So he does hit one on the left side. This for the third baseman Freese in foul territory, and that'll do it. The Astros get a couple of hits and leave one scoreless after a half an inning. Jose Altuve caught stealing. That looks good right about now. How about you, Blummer?
Oh, I'm in. That looks real good. I'd actually like to see it in that helmet on the right. Get that nice big one.
You're ready to go the 8 1/4 helmet, huh?
Going large, yeah. Give me the Bochy special.
The lineup for the Angels tonight features Cole Calhoun, Mike Trout, and Albert Pujols in the top 3 spots, followed by Matt Joyce, David Freese, and Eric Ibar in the bottom 3. Johnny Giavotella, C.J. Cron, and Carlos Perez.
On the mound for your Houston Astros, it's going to be Roberto Hernandez. Mentioned he pitched against Jared Weaver last time. He took the no decision in that game back home at Minute Maid Park against these Angels. Went 6 strong, giving up 3 earned runs. Actually had tied a season high, 6 strikeouts in that ball game. He's actually pitched quite well here at Angel Stadium also. Doesn't have the record to prove it, but a 1.97 ERA.
Yeah, the numbers have been good in Anaheim. And you look at, like Blummer says, on the season, he has pitched well. Fly ball left center field, Marisnick gliding to his right. Out number 1.
Got to look at Jake Marisnick. Playing beside him will be Preston Tucker again in left. Colby Rasmus out there in right. Luis Valbuena, Jonathan Villar, Jose Altuve, Chris Carter across the infield. Jason Castro, the Astro, behind home plate. Trying to get Roberto Hernandez right.
Probably the roughest start on the season for Hernandez. His last one, that at home against Seattle. Part of a 7-6 loss to the Mariners. 6 innings, allowing 8 hits and 5 runs. 4 of those earned. 3 of his starts this year walking just 1 man, so he's been a strike thrower on the course of the year, as Mike Trout now stands in. Trout homered in his first at bat last night, his 8th on the year. Center field, he hit so many balls out that way and just out of the reach of Marisnick.
Yeah, what gets overlooked is how well Jake got back there to the wall and gave it a pretty good effort.
Yeah, he went up trying to be able to bring it back down, just came up shy. Just getting a piece here.
Good sinker right there.
Beating himself up is Mike Trout.
He may have fouled that off his back leg. Ball running in. Yikes. Got that right knee. Watch that back leg. Right off the quad. Wow.
He doubled up on that one. Double your pleasure.
Goodness, yeah.
Certs commercial from years gone by. Stop, you're both right.
1-0 Ash.
Yeah, well, it is a few years back. And the 0-2 once again. I don't know if they even make certs anymore. Quiggs?
What's a cert?
The old breath mint from years ago. No, not Tic Tacs.
You talking about Mentos?
I'll give you some Mentos here.
Is that a rental car? Is that a rental car company? Hertz or Certs?
And strike 3 as Trout goes down swinging. Out number 2 here in the first inning.
Time now for our Geico quote of the day. It's Chris Iannetta getting hit by Albert Pujols' line drive in the 8th inning last night. I just couldn't get out of the way. I did whatever I could. I was in mid-stride and I just tried to move my foot over and leg over, and I couldn't get over it. Loosely translated, that says I'm not an athlete, and I was unable to get out of the way of that scalded baseball coming right at me.
Tried to move my foot over and leg over, huh?
Well, you got early work tomorrow.
Hard to explain your way out of some of those moves. Strike is delivered. So Hernandez pumping the strike, shift on. 3 infielders on the left side on Sir Albert. 10-game hitting streak in tow. He's hitting .250 on the year.
Proved to be a big play in that ball game because that
likely
would have been a base
was.
hit and an RBI for Albert Pujols. Another run on the board for the Angels.
Good little sinking action. 0-2 the count. Past Tuesday night, Pujols hit his 5th home run of the year, number 525 of his career. He has gone by and joined some fabulous names. Great play, Valbuena. 360 and got him. Nicely done, a 1-2-3 inning with some leather. Right here from Luis Valbuena. We played 1 and we're scoreless. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. We are scoreless after an inning of play. Luis Valbuena has turned in a gem already defensively at third base.
Playing the hot corner, sometimes that ball is going to catch you before you catch it. And that was one of those situations where that ball was absolutely rocketed to third base. And you see the feet get tangled up a little bit by Valbuena as he catches that ball, but plenty of time to throw out a sprinting Albert Pujols.
Pretty good throwing arm by Valbuena down at third base showing off. Chris Carter leads off here in the second inning. Carter was one of the guys who came up with a big hit in that 3-run ninth inning for the Astros last night. And Carter needs some of those knocks right about now as he takes a strike. It's 1-1. Batting average, not exactly where Chris would like it. Hitting 158 on the year.
Chris is just saying, wait till June.
Well,
I'll light it up.
You know, if you could still find your way in the lineup by that point, it will be well accepted. Carter has 4 home runs on the year and takes strike 3 called. Caught looking for a strikeout for Jared Weaver.
Get an idea of where Jared Weaver's trying to work. Chris Carter, that outer edge, just getting peppered with pitches. Finds that outside edge.
Perfectly spotted. And that's kind of what Jared Weaver has done through the years.
Well, in order for him to be effective, he has to be that Monet-esque, that Picasso-esque. You got to be able to paint those corners if you're not going to blow the doors off guys and be able to beat them with your fastball.
Jason Castro at the plate. Takes a strike. Couple of home runs on the year for Jason. He rams one into right field. Solid base hit. So Castro has the Astros' 3rd hit of the night. They got 2 in the first inning, Altuve and Valbuena. Altuve was caught stealing. So this one comes with 1 out, brings up Jake Marisnick.
It was almost a BP fastball right down the middle of the way Castro swung at that. Didn't try and muscle up too much. Just get the barrel to it as quick as you can and stay through it.
Now, some of the velocity numbers on Weaver this year would indicate that it's pretty much a BP fastball.
You almost have to go at him with the knuckleball mentality. Stay back as long as you can, see it as long as you can, and then just have that nice, sharp, crisp, quick swing.
Did you ever have that pitcher on the hill that left you thinking, okay, my approach is this is batting practice?
Well, mentally, I've had guys that I've faced where I said, I am sitting changeup 100% of the time, and I'll be able to adjust to whatever he brings.
You know, the adrenaline takes over, and you start jumping and moving quickly, and I know I had to do that at times. I would just say, okay, it's simply batting practice right here. And, at times, very helpful. 1 ball and no strikes on Jake as he swings through one. Marisnick off to a great start, hitting 338 rather. And another one of the guys with a big swing in that 9th inning last night. 3 homers on the year, 13 ribbies. He's provided extra base pop, 4 doubles and 2 triples. And he continues to play that great center field for the club. George Springer still on the DL now with that concussion symptom.
I was actually glad to hear that that's just a precautionary 7-day DL for George. Nothing major that might be extended. I think it, according to some of the people that you chat with, that it may just be that 7 days and he'll be right back inserted in that lineup, which is great news.
Yeah, you really do hope there's nothing there at all for George. Hate seeing the time missed for Springer. 3-1 pitch, breaking ball, popped up right near second base. Gio Votella, the second baseman, called off now as Ibar makes the play, out number 2 in the second.
He's kind of greedy on Ibar's part, crossing over to that eastern hemisphere to take that ball away from Gio Votella. But you see a good pitch to hit that down, curveball down, drop the head on it, but sometimes you get a little too quick, pop it up. Not happy.
Brings up the 8-hitter Preston Tucker now in his 2nd game in the major leagues. The veteran stands in, hitting 333. Boy, he took some good swings last night.
Oh, just wait. He gets him something right here. I'd like to see him take one of those BP hacks right here on one of these hanging curveballs, fastballs. Just your general mistake and then unleash the fury.
We talked about it last night. He tore it up at AAA this year. 10 homers, 32 RBIs, both leading figures. There's the big swing. He can certainly air out the dance hall.
And Weaver's still deceptive. He's got a funky delivery, pretty skinny guy, a lot of elbows and arms and legs going everywhere, and then he crossfires on top of it.
The 0-2 pitch. That's popped up. Shallow in center field. Coming on is Trout. He'll make the catch. That'll do it. The Astros down with a base hit in the second inning. Leave a man.
As Luke Gregerson is placed on the family emergency list, he has to go on that for a minimum of 3 days. So Asher Wojciechowski, he is back with the big club. Another thing to note, guys, that it'll be Brett Oberholzer on the mound. He'll get the start Wednesday back at Minute Maid Park against the Giants. He'll throw his bullpen today in Fresno. He'll join the club when they get back to Houston. Ash.
Good news, and thanks, Kevin. Always staying up with what's going on with the ball club. So we'll see when Luke Gregerson gets back with the club. Picked up that save last night. Matt Joyce is the left fielder. He leads it off for the Angels here in the second inning. Scoreless ball game. All 3 hits on the night picked up by Houston hitters. Matt Joyce, David Freese, and Eric Ibar for the Halos here in the second inning. Again, the Astros employ the shift as the count is a ball and a strike. Surts, 2 minutes in 1. Jeff Blum, yeah?
I'm going to go get me some of those, Ash.
I don't know if you'll find any these days. I think they're all sold out.
Could be a while.
Flavor crystals, I'm told. What?
Miracle of the internet is you're able to find out what a cert is. Well, is certs plural?
Well, that was the actual name, so I don't think so. 2-2 the count here on Matt Joyce.
Could I have a cert scissors? Is that I want multiple certs?
You would not ask for a cert.
Can I have a cert, sir? Jesus Ortiz with the attempt.
2 balls and 2 strikes. There's Albert Pujols. He was a bit upset last night when he hit that line drive that hit the base runner. Ground ball right side, but with the shift on, right there is the shortstop VR and out number 1.
It's some valuable information about certs. And this is why you tune in, because you never know what you're going to get. But apparently they were introduced back in 1956. Several flavors. They were quite healthy, to be honest with you, Ash. 5 calories per cert.
Does that make them healthy?
I don't know. Cadbury Schweppes made them. I wonder if that led to some of the beverage choices they made.
Fastball is up and in on the right hand hitting David Freese.
They're approximately 18 millimeters in diameter. But quite the punch.
Don't ever go in a store asking for a cert. Oh, please. Oh, okay.
Well, it's going to be prefaced by my friend Alan Ashby said I should get some certs. Do you have any?
Stop, you're both right. Ground ball left side. That's going to find the hole. First hit of the night for the Angels. Picked up by David Freese with 1 out here in the 2nd inning. It'll bring up Eric Ibar.
Celebrate the Astros' best start since 1986 with a cert. No, I'm sorry, a special ticket promotion that offers limited lower level and 200 level seats for 1986 for Monday through Thursday games in the month of May. For more information, visit astros.com/tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
There you go.
Maybe they'll have some throwback certs.
You have no idea how those guys celebrated with certs back on that day, 1986. We're in the 2nd inning. Freese leads from first base as Ibar stands in, hits it to Carter. He'll go to second for 1 and back to first. They get the 3-6-3. Started very nicely by Chris Carter. And that'll do it for the Angels in the 2nd inning. Scoreless ball game after 2. Play to get a double play started.
Real impressive. You can see that ball got on him pretty quick, and he was almost shocked and didn't know what to do with it. Made a great choice. Strong throw to VR. Made this double play actually look easy, and that is not an easy 3-6-3.
You don't see a lot of 3-6-3s, but Carter near the bag, able to get back and get it done.
Shocked him, too, that they got 2 outs on that play.
Very nice. Jonathan VR, the middle man on the double play, leads it off here in the 3rd inning. VR stands in, batting left-handed, and again, that's what you want, is as many left-hand hitters against Jared Weaver as possible. VR hitting an even 200 on the year. So is bunt. We'll see if the Astros might have the bunt employed here this evening. Leadoff bunt single by Altuve in the 1st inning. The Astros have won 15 of their last 19. 16-5 in their last 21. So obviously playing very good baseball. Had the 10-game winning streak. and then is just a part of what baseball seems to be all about. Lost 3 consecutive games to the last place Texas Rangers at the time, who came into Houston and just laid it on Houston. Down on strikes, VR out number 1 here in the 3rd inning. Second strikeout for Weaver.
It's a little interesting for me right there, that high fastball. Saw it on the gun about 88 miles an hour, so apparently he can reach back when he needs to, can Jared Weaver.
Well, he was talking about, with all the talk about him and his lack of velocity now, how he can get the fastball back. I'm sure he's trying everything that he can imagine. But I will say again, it's not like this has just happened this year. We've seen it the last couple of years. Altuve shows bunt again and takes outside. Ball and a strike on Jose. You have to wonder if Altuve and company have seen something about Weaver on the hill and maybe an ability to lay down bunts for hits. Jose fouls it off.
Just one more facet of Altuve's game. Maybe he's felt he's neglected it.
Well, he laid down a perfect bunt in the 1st inning. Lines one to left field, dropping. It'll be a hit. Second hit of the night. So Jose Altuve is 2 for 2. He's at first with 1 out for Luis Valbuena. And we'll see now if the running game comes into play.
Let's see if he decides to test Carlos Perez. Back-to-back hits for Altuve in his first 2 at-bats. Just a simple fastball down the middle and just a simple swing from a strong man in Altuve. Just another hit.
You know what? It's been a while since Jose Altuve has put 2 hits together in a ball game. You have to go back to May 1st now. And he was on quite a string at that time.
Sure was. 9 in a row.
I believe he had 9 consecutive games with multiple hits. And now you have to go back to that date. So very surprising. In fact, 3 overs in that span, and now he gets picked off at
first. A little too aggressive right there by Altuve. I'm not sure what point he's trying to prove out there by running so early in these counts. But Jared Weaver has got an eye on him. Great throw, great tag. But yeah, that's just a little over aggressive for Altuve on the base paths, which we're not used to seeing. Usually he picks some pretty good spots to go out and run.
And there's a shot for a base hit, solidly hit by Valbuena, as the right fielder Calhoun gets it back in. The Astros now have 5 hits on the night, but with Altuve being caught stealing in the 1st, and I believe officially picked off here in the 3rd inning, just nothing mounting, and Jose is not pleased with things.
Yeah, how about that? First inning started out base hit, caught stealing, and then a base hit by Valbuena. Same thing happens here in the 3rd.
Did you hear officially, did they call that a pickoff or a caught stealing?
I was not listening.
Apparently they've called it a caught stealing. That would be twice on the night for Jose, and it would make 8 times the Astros as a team have been caught. Fly ball center field. Toward right center goes Trout. He's there and makes the catch as Evan Gattis flies out. That does it for the Astros in the 3rd inning. No runs on a couple of hits as they leave a man. Still scoreless. on the last night of voting. Winners will be honored at the All-Star game in Cincinnati, but it's a really, to me, kind of impossible list to try to vote on it. By the way, you can write in on your last night to be able to vote for the Astros franchise 4.
Lance. Saw that rookie swing. He was laying down the bat early on in his career wearing that number 22 before he changed to 17.
Look at that list. Bagwell, Berkman, Biggio, Cruz, Richard, Ryan, Scott, and Jimmy Wynn. And then again, Cesar Cedeno and Larry Dierker, and kind of on with some names you could throw in there.
Yeah, there were a lot of tweets about Cesar Cedeno.
One of the great talents I ever saw. So yeah, good luck as you try to make your votes on that one. Johnny Giovotella leads it off for the Angels here in the 3rd inning. The Angels with 1 hit through 2 innings. That picked up by David Freese. The Astros have picked up their hits. They have 5 already against Weaver, and yet nothing to show for it. It's the bottom 3 in the order: Giovotella, Cron, and Perez for the Angels here in the 3rd inning. Roberto Hernandez has picked up 1 strikeout. He's gotten a double play behind him, started by Chris Carter. Ground ball, third base side, and that one kicks off the glove of Valbuena, and likely an infield single now to start the inning for Giovotella.
Playing in as a third baseman, right on that baseline, and a guy turns on one. Doesn't hit it extremely hard, but it's a couple steps to your left, and you get caught in between that dive and trying to stand up and make that play, and sometimes your hands get a little firm.
They have called it an E5, so not a base hit for Giovotella.
Scoring's got tough these days.
Really tough. C.J. Cron stands in, 0 for his last 11. He's the DH for the Angels tonight as Hernandez finds the strike zone. These Angels, as we mentioned last night, have not been a good offensive club this year. They are 14th, second to last in the American League as a team, hitting .227. They are right in the middle of the pack with 26 long balls. They don't run at all. Of course, the runner goes here, as I say, that diving stop Altuve, and he got him. What a play at second base. Altuve had started to cover at second and somehow able to turn that around.
Altuve showing some mad skills on the defensive side. And you hit it, Ash. He was going to cover on this hit and run play. Hits the skids, turns back around, changing direction. Makes a great play to lay out and just keep it in the infield. And from his knees, makes a strong throw to get Cron.
Wow.
He's pretty impressive these days.
How about the play last night to start the double play?
My goodness. I got to watch that for a while. That would be fun to watch that on continuous loop.
Some kind of gem he started. 1 out. Giovotella in scoring position for Carlos Perez. And again, Perez, a former Houston Astro farmhand. Big star Tuesday night, a walk-off home run. The first of back-to-back walk-off wins for the Angels. He was traded by the Astros with Nick Tropiano back in November. That was November 5th to the Angels for Hank Conger. And now it looks like Perez is a guy who's maybe in the sights of becoming an everyday catcher for the Angels. Hits one on the ground up the middle. Altuve's there. They'll get the out at first. Moving into third, Giovotella. 2 outs now for Cole Calhoun.
Yeah, a lot of making a big league roster is timing. A lot of winning a big league job on a daily basis is timing too. And right now, Iannetta not swinging the bat very well at all.
Let's take a look at that play last night.
Incredible. Just the quickness to get it out of that glove and get it to VR in a place where he could handle it and turn that double play was amazing. Yeah, just keep it going. There we go. See it again. You got to see it 3 or 4 times, and especially in this super slow-mo to see how well he did that.
You know, I love it at every speed. At full speed, it was just unbelievable. As the ground ball goes foul. Calhoun flied to center in the first inning.
In that super slow-mo, you can see the momentum. I mean, he had to reach for that ball. He was going full bore when he caught that and flipping it backwards to second base. Real nice.
Yeah, and that said, it was a tough play for VR as well. So it was beautifully turned between the two of them. Cole Calhoun hitting .296, grounds one back to the mound. Nice play by Hernandez from a knee, and he'll get the out. 3 ground ball outs in the inning following that reaching by Giovotella on the E5. Scoreless after 3.
Next Friday night fireworks is next Friday, May 15th, when the Astros take on the Blue Jays. For more information, visit astros.com/fireworks or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Alan Ashby.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. You know, we've got a scoreless ball game going on through 3 innings. The Astros 5 hits, the Angels just 1. As Jared Weaver starts things, 1 ball and no strikes on the 4-hitter, Colby Rasmus. Colby popped out to third in foul territory to end the first inning and sees the count at 2 balls and no strikes. By the way, last night for Colin McHugh, and not factoring into the decision, he continues now with his 11-game decision winning streak. So he still has that on the line. This one popped up behind the plate. Coming back is Perez, and does not quite have room. A little bit of an optical illusion on that one as the screen hit the backside, or the ball hit the backside of the screen. See our peek at it.
Pretty good deep by Perez.
I bet there's a lot of folks here in the stadium who think that maybe he missed that. Drive to left field and going back, just getting there while crossing onto the warning track is Matt Joyce, and out number 1. So Colby Rasmus drives it the other way.
Colin McHugh's pitching performance last night was powered by Kubota. Colin now has 15 consecutive road starts, allowing 3 or fewer runs, tied for second most ever to start a career with a team. Start throwing Evers in there. That's pretty good. We saw him dealing last night, correcting some of those inflated numbers he had here at Angel Stadium, but we saw a fantastic control of that slider/cutter that he has.
Chris Carter stands in, strikeout victim looking in the second inning. Yeah, it's amazing what Colin McHugh has become now as a major league pitcher. And you start feeling like he's going to do it every time he goes out there.
I'm in that group.
Yeah, I am too.
I see him going out there. I think we got a chance.
By the way, the Astros are 11-1 in games started by Dallas Keuchel and Colin McHugh. So Run him out there. Carter fouls it off. 1-2 the count on Chris.
It's nice to have those guys in your rotation when you do hit those skids, 3-game losses in a row. You have that one guy that you have faith in to go out there and maybe stop that skid or hold down the other team until your offense gets hot.
What about the late game magic for the Astros that seems to be a part of this club early on? Is it something players are conscious of, or is it just there because the media starts asking that question?
You're conscious of it, but the media obviously can overblow things a little bit. Because really all that matters is what's going on in that clubhouse and between those guys that are wearing the same uniform.
Curveball fouled back. And then what about a Chris Carter, as he had that strong second half last year? Really, I mean, 37 home runs. He had a terrific year in that regard. Is he feeling the weight of all the questions this year? Grounds one to third base. Thrown out on the long throw.
I'm sure. There's points in your season. It's such a roller coaster ride being a professional athlete in general, but you're going to have those moments where you question yourself, your ability, what's going on. There's a lot of questions to be asked when things aren't going well. And you're just looking for that one trigger that ignites a hot stretch for you to get you back in the groove.
I think this guy's looking for that trigger too. He lined one, a base hit in the second inning. Castro stands in, hitting .224. And my feeling is you never know when it's going to happen. There are times when you think it's going to happen, and it might, but then there are other times that will completely catch you by surprise. Ground ball right side, Giovatello with the play. And a quick 1-2-3 inning turned in by Jared Weaver, his first 1-2-3 of the night.
Side corner to start him off, get him down early, and then come into the kitchen, foul one off, have him foul one off his quad, make it hurt a little bit, get him leaking over that outside corner, and then just pull the string on a changeup and have that thing dart down and out of the zone and get a swing over the top from the tough out in Mike Trout. That was a pretty impressive sequence for Roberto Hernandez, who's showing some good movement early on here at Angel Stadium.
Roberto Hernandez has allowed just one hit through 3 innings. We played 3.5, a scoreless game. Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, and Matt Joyce. 2, 3, 4 coming up here in this 4th inning. Only 10 pitches in each inning now for Hernandez. Mike Trout struck out in the first, the only strikeout recorded by Hernandez tonight. He's homered in each of his last couple of games.
Ooh. Pretty good slider.
I think Castro's asking that question, where was that? Dear Mr. Blue, sir, where did you find that one to be inadequate? Drive center field. Marisnick back. Appears to have room on the track and makes the catch. One up, one down. The guy misses the ball and almost hits it out.
Some kind of strong. Such a good job of bringing his hands in and getting the barrel of the ball, but every out he's been making here recently has been pretty well hit. That's how you feel after you get a guy like Mike Trout out, huh?
What exactly was he saying with that mannerism there? Come on in. I don't want you playing that far back. He's not going to hit it that far. Well, wait a minute. Okay, nice catch.
Talking to the ball. Come back to me.
Yeah, Albert Pujols 0 for 1 on the night. Hit a rocket on the ground down to third base. Nice play by Valbuena to get him to end the first inning. Some kind of career put together by Albert Pujols. Still got a long ways to go on this contract he signed with the Angels. Takes just away. 2 balls and a strike. This is the 4th of a 10-year deal that he's signed with the Halos. So there are still mega bucks out there to be paid. And a strike at the knees. 2-2.
Good backdoor sinker from Hernandez.
3-time MVP. He was Rookie of the Year back in 2001. He was 4th in the MVP voting that year. And has a full count. 1 out. Matt Joyce waits on deck. Bit surprising, but Pujols has only led his league in RBIs once, and that happened with the Cardinals in 2010. And it wasn't one of his huge RBI years. 118 that year. Ground ball left side. Shift on. BR with the play. Takes his time nicely. And out number 2. Matt Joyce stands in. He's 0 for 1 on the night. The only Angel hit picked up by 5-hitter David Freese. This game's got a little of that feel from last night, Blummer, where not much going on offensively. You wonder at what point somebody's going to strike.
Sure does. Neither one of these teams early on in that game last night for sure was willing to go out there and take advantage of the situation until the Angels scored, but both these teams just kind of feeling each other out.
It's a big ballpark in left field, left center field. And I think it's turned into one of the better pitchers' ballparks in the American League.
Yeah, that 390 is almost in left field, is almost straightaway left field, and that's pretty deep for straightaway. Usually you see that number in a center field or in a right center field, left center field gap. But at 347 down the left field line, 350 down the right field line, unless you turbo hook one around a foul pole, you got to drive it.
Yeah, I think most of the power hitters like Pujols, considering to come and sign with the Angels, are going to look at kind of the straightaway figures and see what they can do maybe to the other gap. Because I'm not sure that's what Pujols and his agent were looking at the time. 3-1 the count.
Yeah, and the more years you get on your birth certificate, the farther those walls move back, it seems like, too.
Yeah, it would seem so. Hernandez brings it, and the pitch hit in the air to left field. Should be easy for Tucker as he backs under and makes the catch. A 1-2-3 4th inning. So we are sailing along scoreless after 4.
superstar Canelo Alvarez and Texas Titan James Kirkland will clash in a 12-round super welterweight showdown at Minute Maid Park. VIP premium seats have just become available in the Diamond Club and Insperity Club sections of Minute Maid Park. Seats are $250 each and include food and non-alcoholic beverages. To reserve your premium seat for Minute Maid Park's first ever live boxing event, please call 713-259-8350.
So we're underway here in the fifth inning. Jake Marisnick leads off, followed by Preston Tucker and Jonathan Villar, bottom three in the order. To make something happen. 5 Houston hits to no avail. 2 of those picked up by Jose Altuve, 2 by Luis Valbuena, and the other by Jason Castro. Two 2-0 the count. Weaver with that breaking ball has it hit in the air, easy to left field. Matt Joyce comes in and a bit toward left center to make the play. 1 up, 1 down here in the fifth inning.
Boxing's been on everybody's mind, it seems, recently. This is a big one at Minute Maid Park, and check out the tail of the tape. There's a lot of knockouts between 2 guys.
24 years of age and 44 wins already for Alvarez. It's a lot of work going on. There's the swing by Preston Tucker.
Both those fighters with 1 loss. Alvarez's loss was to Floyd Mayweather.
So that's understandable.
That is understandable. Just another victim.
Mayweather out-D him as he tends to do, I would assume.
I would imagine, yeah.
Preston Tucker flied to center field in the second inning. You're going to see some really big swings from this left-hand hitter.
This swing is almost reminiscent for me of Tino Martinez.
Yeah, that one hand flat right through, long through the zone. Fastball grounded right side. 2 hops for Giovotella. And out number 2 here in the fifth inning.
Sometimes when you face those pitchers that aren't throwing very hard, you have a tendency to sometimes maybe take a little bit bigger swing, muscle up a little bit. That load gets a little long. Get jammed on 85 miles an hour.
I wonder if there's something to the crossfire and the right over the top 4-seamer that Weaver tends to bring, if even without the velocity on the radar gun, if it somehow gets on you a bit.
I remember I faced Jared Weaver back in 2011 or 12. I'll tell you next inning.
As VR flies out, a quick 1-2-3 fifth inning. 7 in a row retired by Weaver. at southwest.com. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Hernandez set to go here in the bottom of the 5th inning, a scoreless game. He'll face David Freese, Eric Ibar, and Johnny Giovotella. David Freese, the only hit for the Angels to this point. And a 1-1 count. Roberto Hernandez continues to pitch well here in Anaheim. Big right-hander brings the 1-1. The 11th career start against the Angels, 15th appearance overall, and the second time this season he's met up with the Halos. Blummer talked about the .247 ERA career against the Angels. And yet he has never picked up a win against the LA Angels of Anaheim, or the California Angels, or any other combined group with that name out here. Three balls and a strike as he starts the inning. He has not walked a man. There has been one error behind him, that committed by Valbuena. Pretty tough call, though, and a second base hit of the night for David Freese. Second time Freese has grounded one through that hole on the left side. It brings up Eric Ibar.
Really the only guy that's got an answer for that sinker. Able to catch it out in front, find that 5.5 hole.
Eric Ibar was the guy that grounded into the 3-6-3 double play to end the second inning. Hit one right at Chris Carter, who started that slick double play. Ibar, a switch hitter. Runner goes, the pitch grounded right side through the hole, and Freese won't stop at second. He digs for third. So the Angels have back-to-back hits, runners at the corners, and nobody out here in the 5th inning.
Interesting to see. We talked about the stolen base numbers and the discrepancy between what the Astros do and what the Angels do, but this is the second hit and run we've seen. The first one was spoiled by Altuve, and now we see it happening, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Roberto Hernandez throws a lot of fastballs in the zone, keeps the ball down, get that infield in motion, and try and find that hole.
And again, the Angels have only stolen 10 bases on the year. They've been caught 8 times. So that's a miserable mark with the running game, and yet exploiting it here this evening. Johnny Giovotella at the plate. 4-game hitting streak on the line. Reached on an E5 in the 3rd inning. Very tough play for Valbuena in that case. Little tapper toward the mound. Runner holds at third as Roberto Hernandez gets the out at first base. Moving into second is Ibar. So it's a big out. You pick it up. The run does not score. Now 2 runners in scoring position for the 8-hitter C.J. Cron.
Yeah, the only good thing that does is eliminate the double play situation. But a little aggressive by Giovotella, trying to make something happen here. Thought that might have been a good situation for that safety squeeze we've seen over the years with runners at first and third. Push that bunt towards first, get yourself an easy run. But still a good situation for the Angels to be in.
Cron grounded out. That was the outstanding play on the right side by Altuve, moving back to his left with a runner in motion. And a great diving play to get Cron in the 3rd. Here's a fly ball and deep to right center field. Under it is Rasmus. He'll make the catch, tagging both runners, and they will move up. The Angels will take a 1-0 lead as Freese scores on the sac fly by C.J. Cron.
Some aggressive hitting by the last 2 hitters. I'm actually pretty impressed that C.J. Cron got this ball elevated off of Roberto Hernandez. Guy throws a lot of sinkers, keeps the ball down, gets a lot of ground balls. But you can see he got himself a pitch up in the zone. That's what he's looking for with the runner at third base, and you got pop like C.J. Cron. Just muscle it out there for an easy RBI.
So the Angels strike first, and that's been a big number for the Astros this year. If they can strike first, they have been very successful. 1-0 Halos Carlos Perez at the plate. And 2 down now. As the first pitch is right there at the outside edge. The Astros are 13-1 when they score first. They're 6-9 when the opposition scores first. It's a bit of a hard one for me to figure out. Chopper is foul. 0-2 the count.
I don't know if it's not really, it's a decent sample size, but it's still not big enough to where you can actually point your finger at something. But we saw last night the Angels scored first, and then the Astros came back in that 9th inning and ended up winning the game. So they've got that late fight, that resiliency you want to see in a ball club. And they're on the West Coast, Ash. They're nice and relaxed, laid back, taking it easy.
Okay, I'm buying in now.
Just waiting for their moment.
Carlos Perez last year at Oklahoma City, AAA for the Astros, hit .259 with 6 home runs. So the numbers were not huge. He played in 88 games there. But the Angels like what they see, and he shoots one up the middle. RBI single, Perez, 2-0 Angels here in the 5th.
Guys in the clubhouse like to call these revenge at bats when you're playing against those teams that trade you away, release you, and you get a chance to come back and answer and let them know what they're missing right here. Carlos Perez takes advantage of the opportunity, just out of the reach of the outstretched arms of VR. Speaking of outstretched, Perez kind of went out there and got that one.
Yes, he did. Second Major League RBI for Perez. So he's aboard with 2 outs. Top of the order now with Cole Calhoun. And the Angels now with 4 hits on the night, 3 coming here in the 5th inning. Calhoun lashes one to left field. Oh, he's got a great looking opposite field stroke. He employed that last night with a base hit. That came against the left-hander Joe Thatcher.
Well, Calhoun impresses me as a guy that'll go out there and take some chances on a big swing, but it's nice that he has this one in his back pocket. Lets that ball travel deep. Slash it the other way. Right now, a good time for a conversation between Castro and Hernandez. Maybe settle them down a little bit.
Bring in that left side of the infield and they'll just take a little bit of time with Hernandez.
Give him a breather. This is probably the most stressful inning he's had to this point.
It's all even in the hits column at 5, 2-0 Angels. But 4 of those 5 hits now coming in the 5th inning.
And 4 of those hits coming on the first pitch in this inning.
How about that? What does that say to you?
They're being aggressive. They're attacking early and often. And this is that third go around in this lineup. So these guys are making the adjustment against Roberto Hernandez, who's throwing a lot of strikes.
Yeah, I imagine when you've got a guy throwing a lot of strikes, you just figure, let's go ahead and get him early when he might find more of the plate. Mike Trout stands in, and now timeout called. Eight hits, the most allowed in any one start this year by Hernandez. And again, that came in that last start against Seattle. Trout is 0 for 2 on the night. He has struck out and then just barely kept one in the yard in the 4th inning. Hit a deep drive to center field, just right of straightaway center field, hauled in by Marisnick in the 4th inning. And that ground ball shoots foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Perez and Calhoun, the base runners for the Angels. Hernandez trying to get out of the jam with no further damage here in the 5th inning. But the big man at the plate, he gets jammed, little looper to Altuve. He'll make the play, and that'll do it. So the big out of Mike Trout, but the Angels strike for a pair in the 5th inning, lead it 2-0.
Take a look at our progressive upcoming schedule. Still got 2 more games here in Anaheim on this short 4-game road trip to Southern California before the team sets out back home. Got a day off on the 11th, a 2-game set against the San Francisco Giants before a 4-game weekend against the Toronto Blue Jays. That should be interesting. And then the Oakland A's come to town, and then a road trip headed out there to Detroit to see Detroit manager, ex-Astro, ex-teammate, good friend, Brad Ausmus. See how his ball club's doing.
Have fun, by the way, Blummer, with the Giants games coming up at home.
I get to go to Houston. How about that?
Yeah, that's good. Jose Altuve shows bunt again. He had a bunt hit in the first inning. Showed bunt in the third inning before singling into left field. So he's 2 for 2 on the night. That's the good side. On the other side, he's been caught stealing twice. Strike called on the outside edge. A ball and a strike. Altuve, Valbuena, and Gaddis here in the 6th inning. The Astros now down a pair. Jose Altuve is now a .304 career hitter. And I would think moving upward. Hits one on the ground to shortstop. Ibar lays back a bit and now throws high, and he's safe. Altuve able to hit the bag as Pujols came up off the bag. It's an E6 on the throw by Ibar.
Got jammed, kind of a changeup, but just that hesitation. As hard as Altuve hustles, it looks like Albert may have kept a spike on that base. Get a good look at the hustle. Always hustling Jose Altuve. We all appreciate that in the young man.
That was that speed and hustle of Altuve ultimately helping the Astros win last night's ball game.
They're not going to challenge this one.
So the E6 has Altuve aboard starting the 6th inning. It brings up Valbuena, who, like Altuve, comes into this at bat in the 6th inning, or make that 2 for 2 on the night. A couple of singles. And for Valbuena, much needed hits. He's now hitting .210. He started the night below that 200 mark at 194. Altuve, a short lead held on by Pujols as Valbuena takes the strike. Took a great throw in the first inning by Castro, or make that by Perez, the catcher, to get Altuve. And then kind of one of those pickoff type caught stealings in the third inning. Valbuena has an 0-2 count.
Big swing from Valbuena down to a knee.
The Reggie Jackson swing.
Yeah, good call.
Those were fun days, kind of sitting behind Reg as he would take that big swing. One ball and 2 strikes. Each team with 5 hits, each team with an error.
But Weaver looks like he's just sailing along. No big deal.
He does look that way.
62 pitches on the night.
He has tended to look that way through the years on the Astros.
That is very true.
Some guys just seem to have the number of a given club. Inside corner caught. And Valbuena caught looking. Out number 1 here in the 6th inning. 3rd strikeout for Weaver.
Locked him up right here. Looking out over the plate. Weaver, even though he's not lighting up the radar gun, still able to locate and have the guts to go to that inside corner.
And that fastball got a good portion of the plate. So with 1 out, it brings up Evan Gaddis, who's 0 for 2.
I think Evan sits in the dugout and says, man, if this guy pumps me a fastball around my neck, I'm going to hammer it.
I wonder if he's ever thought that. And yet, we've seen a little dose of that. That's the look in today's Major League Baseball world, isn't it?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Facial hair?
I think so.
barely notice it.
Breaking ball. 1-1 the count.
76 miles an hour on that pitch.
Among those who tout the bearded look, is Dallas Keuchel one of the leaders?
Oh, by far. I mean, he's one of the few guys that actually embraces keeping that thing clean cut, trimmed up. Look at Gaddis. He's got like a neck beard going with his.
Fastball hit high in the air down the right field side. Long run for Calhoun. He'll get there in foul territory. Altuve bluffs and forces the throw, but that's 2 down now with Altuve at first base for Colby Rasmus. I was hearing somebody talk about the beards the other day and some of the stuff that gets hung up in there, shall we say.
Have you been reading that on Facebook, Ash?
No, I have not been on the book lately, but
come on.
We'll just leave it right there.
Danger zone.
I was reading Lou Pinella's blog the other day. Rasmus fouls it back to the screen.
Hey, look what I found.
Yeah, that's the story I've been hearing. Yes.
Ooh, look at that thing. Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
And a son. Colby Rasmus 0 for 2. And now an 0-2 count. Well, the magic of Jared Weaver here this evening.
When you saw a batter like Colby Rasmus that far up towards the pitcher, did you specifically go tell the pitcher, or was there a signal? Or
if it was a difference in the normal stance, I would try to make sure that the pitcher understood that I was trying to call the game accordingly. Now, for example, Joe Morgan stood in that spot. That was his
wow.
spot.
Okay. But I'm wondering, did it mess with any of the pitchers? Did some pitchers not want to know that because they were unable to throw or effectively execute some of their off-speed pitches because they were so close?
Really good question, because a lot of times pitchers don't want to change what they do. And a lot of times as a hitter, you don't want to change what you do just because a pitcher pitches you differently.
It's not that easy. That's why I wondered. Weaver has a pretty good breaking ball. Does he have the ability to take a couple feet off it and throw it in front of home plate?
2-2 the count. Well, it looks for the moment like Altuve has just turned off the running game.
Might be a little scared, which is rare for him.
I don't know if he knows that word.
I agree with you on that. If he was scared, he wouldn't be in the big leagues right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. 2-2. And now 3-2. So that'll put Altuve on the move. 3-2 with 2 outs. Chris Carter waits on deck. The Astros yet to get on the board here this evening. Won last night's game with a 3-run 9th inning. There goes Altuve. The curveball is tapped foul right off the end of the bat. Yeah, again, Weaver comes into play tonight. 0-4 with a 6.29 ERA. So things have not been going his way, and yet lifetime 2.95 ERA against Houston, 3-2 in 6 previous starts. Again, Altuve on the move, and the fastball fouled left side.
I've gotten away with one right there, but he's throwing so many off-speed pitches to Colby Rasmus. That 86-mile-an-hour fastball probably looked about 95. First pitch in the zone. How about that? Yet we've got a 3-2 count.
Again, the runner goes. Line drive softly hit on the right side. Shift on. Eye bars in place. And that does it for Houston in the 6th inning. Still 2-0.
Wine tasting and a wine stopper giveaway to the first 500 fans at the event. Partial proceeds will benefit breast cancer research at Houston Methodist Cancer Center. For tickets, visit astros.com/Grape Escape or call 877-9-ASTROS. Alan?
Thank you, Kevin. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning, 2-0. Angels lead over the Astros, 5 hits for each club. Albert Pujols at the plate, 0 for 2 on the night, riding a 10-game hitting streak coming in. One ball and one strike. The batting average not the same as we've seen in years gone by, 245. In fact, the numbers overall are certainly falling for Albert. Done some amazing things through his career, and certainly against the Astros. Lifetime of 300 hitter against Houston. He has put together one super season against the Astros alone. 46 home runs, 127 RBIs. Has a 3-1 count. Hernandez yet to walk a man this evening. But the Angels strung together 4 hits and a sac fly in the 5th inning and put their 2 runs on the board. Line drive, base hit. It's 11 games now for Albert Pujols.
Time now for the AT&T Rewind. Go back to the 8 unassisted play by Jake Marisnick when Albert Pujols was on first base. Forgot how many outs there were, and then a great play out right by Colby Rasmus. Hey, I misjudged a little bit, but right here, Gold Glove play of the year so far for me from Jose Altuve on the double play to pick up his pitcher McHugh.
The Astros have turned 1 double play on the night. That came back in the 2nd inning and started by Chris Carter. A 3-6-3 on a ground ball hit by Eric Ibar. Nobody out here. Matt Joyce at the plate.
Desmond Jennings was the last center fielder to turn an 8 unassisted double play.
Saw that. Probably the same type of play.
Come in on a hard charger, maybe a hit and run situation. You never know, but
1 ball and no strikes on Matt Joyce. Changeup.
Got a good one tonight, but I don't think we've seen it often enough for me.
He had a good one his last start, I believe it was. It's hard to remember now. The last start was not his best of starts. Again, that shift employed. 3 infielders on the right side only. Valbuena on the left. Looked like Joyce might have been shooting toward left. Night started intriguingly with Jose Altuve dropping down a bunt single, but then was caught stealing before a base hit from Valbuena in the 1st inning. They also got back-to-back hits from Altuve and Valbuena in the 3rd inning. Hot shot right at Altuve. He'll try to get the double play started, and they get it. 4-6-3. Very sharply hit ball by Matt Joyce, and 2 outs now here in the 2nd inning. Or make that 6th inning. 2nd double play turned by the Astros.
That'll be double play 149 for Hernandez on his career. That ranks 18th among active pitchers. So the man has a good sinker, uses it to his advantage. Good defense behind him.
With 2 outs, it brings up David Freese, who is 2 for 2 on the night. What are the flash bulbs going off? What's going on?
It's a good question, Ash. The other night they set the record for most sombreros worn in a stadium.
Can't beat that kind of record.
So maybe they're going for the most flashes in a ballpark. Got a lot of flashers here. Thankfully no streakers.
But we do have a lot of dirty beards. 2-0 the count. And the strike is delivered. Kevin Eschenfelder knows what's going on.
I don't know if I know what's going on, but I've got a pretty good idea. My sources tell me. I think we're overthinking this. It's kind of the electronic wave. They are basically just everybody taking out their cell phones and using the flashlight app. Looks pretty cool. I'll give them that.
I want you to know what you just said, Kevin. You just said that here in the booth, we were overthinking something.
we get paid to do that.
After the certs conversation,
well, Kevin, you remember certs, right?
Of course I do. It had Retsin. I don't know what Retsin is. But
that's right. It had Retsin.
They used to say it had Retsin in it.
That's right.
Well, you're telling me you don't know what a certs is?
Oh, I didn't know they put resin in it.
Goodness.
Ground ball to third. Valbuena gets the out. And just 3 hitters come to the plate in the 6th inning. It's 2-0. The Angels lead after 6.
Road game so far this season, and you look at the numbers of what the Astros have done in the 7th inning and later. This is what they've done on the road, outscoring their opponents 42-16 and out-homering their opponents 8-1. Also, 44 more plate appearances after the 7th inning. So, guys, Astros, maybe they have Jared Reaver right where they want him.
All right, so the Astros need to know now. Kevin Eschenfelder has set them up. They are set to go, 7th inning. Trailing 2-0. Everything is right in place. Chris Carter, Jason Castro, and Jake Marisnick here in the 7th inning.
Was it me or those are really big numbers to have after the 7th inning?
You bet. Can you continue to count on scoring late in ball games over the course of the year? I would imagine a hitting coach would say, guys, let's see if we can get this going in the 1st inning. And of course, again, we mentioned that the Astros are tearing it up when they score first this year, 16-0. So they've done a bit of that. It's kind of been all over the place for the club. They've pitched very well. We know about the home run ability, 2nd best in the league in home runs as Carter fouls it back. They lead the league in stolen bases. Caught twice tonight, though. Both of those Altuve. And for the by the way for you, last year Jared Weaver allowed 25 stolen bases. Only 5 were caught behind him.
Somewhere along the line, they made the adjustment.
Strike 3 called. That's paint at very best right out there.
Little cut piece. These are in road wins, taking the lead in the 7th inning or later this season. The Astros are leading everybody in baseball by 3 games with 7 of them. So that plays right into what Kevin was talking about, those big numbers contributing to already 7 wins from the 7th inning on the road. They've only played 13 games on the road.
10-2, yeah.
Yeah, so
11-2 coming in.
Pretty good stretch.
Jason Castro is 1 for 2 on his night. Singled, grounded out. Yeah, when it's all said and done, comes out of the wash, the Astros are 19-10 and a 6-game lead in the American League West. I just don't imagine anybody would have guessed that coming out of spring training. A.J. Hinch has really put something together here at the start of the year. Two and one the count on Castro. And there have been times when it's been the bottom of the order. It's been the heart of the order that's had the biggest problem this year. Pitch just popped up. Playable on the left side. Freeze under. And makes the catch. 2 down in the 7th inning.
Get to look at some more numbers, but I think what you're talking, I mean, those are great numbers. 9-1 on the road. But that's what makes what's happening in the middle of the Astros lineup that much more astounding, that they have this record without their power guys going up there and lighting it up.
Yeah, that's on the West Coast where, for whatever reason, it's been the land of the living for the Astros this year. And a place that in years past, I recall many years where if the team was heading out on a lengthy West Coast trip, you were getting ready for some tough times.
Yeah.
Jake Marisnick 0 for 2. He's put a couple of balls in the air. Once to short, once to left field. 86 miles an hour, high fastball, 4-seamer, and it gets over the bat. There seems to be every now and then that pitcher that has that ability. And again, the fastball fouled back, 87 miles an hour.
Jared Weaver's always worked with great deception, hasn't made too many adjustments to that delivery that he's had. But he does such a good job of mixing about 5 pitches to keep hitters off balance.
And he's sharp this evening. That last pitch, an example, he's putting pitches where he wants.
Not one pitch really stays the same place, constantly moving.
High chop to third, freeze on one hop, and a 1-2-3 7th inning. Weaver's rolling. It's 2-0 Angels. That call, and inside the park home run for Butch Henry. Kind of big stuff there. Right here this evening, 2-0 Angels lead over the Astros. As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, Roberto Hernandez still working it. He's pitched well, but after allowing 4 hits in the 2-run 5th inning, now dependent upon his offense to get something going at some point. Has a 1-1 count. Eric Ibar leads it off, followed by Johnny Giavotella and C.J. Cron. That's 6, 7, 8 for the Angels. .225 the batting average for Ibar. The Astros have some batting averages that are not where they'd like them to be, but the Angels have the same story. And really, to a larger degree, we've talked about the overall numbers. The Angels are 14th in the league in team batting average. They have not been good offensively. And it probably leads to what you're looking at. The Angels start the night 13 and 16. Just inside for Hernandez.
Yeah, if you look at both these lineups and look at their batting average and the production, you wouldn't assume these are the top 2 teams in the AL West by any means.
Got some finals in around the major leagues. The Cubs defeated Milwaukee 7-6. How about the Yankees? 5-4 winners over Baltimore. The Yankees are leading in the American League East as the strikeout is recorded on Ibar starting the 7th inning. That is just the 2nd strikeout on the night for Hernandez. One out for Giavotella. Washington Nationals are starting to put things together. They defeat Atlanta 9-2. Philadelphia 3-1 winners over the Mets. Cardinals, boy, are they rolling. You talk about a team that is playing good baseball. Cardinals win today. 8-5 over Pittsburgh. The Cardinals are 22-7 on their young season. Chicago Cubs 2nd place in that division. Fly ball left center field on the move. Preston and makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th. The Toronto Blue Jays hosted the Red Sox. Jays win it 7-0. Tigers 6-5 winners over the visiting Royals. Texas goes into Tampa Bay and falls 8-2, and Minnesota wins at Cleveland 9-3. Hernandez misses away. Quickly gets 2 outs here in the 7th. C.J. Cron has grounded out and then came up with a sac fly in the 5th inning. That plated the 1st run of the night. Carlos Perez, the catcher, followed with an RBI single. As a nice play by Valbuena, but the throw high. Carter does the dance and gets back down on the bag for the out of 1-2-3 7th inning. And a little peek at nearby Disneyland here in Orange County. 2-0 Angels.
Services celebrating 13 years. We'll watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. When A.J. Hinch is meeting with the media before tonight's game in the dugout, he was talking about how proud he was of the way this team has scratched and clawed late in games. We showed you the numbers just a moment ago, but he just is very proud of not giving up at bats late. And I think Jake Marisnick said it best. He said, I said, is there a different approach when you get late in games? He said, we just keep grinding. That's what they're going to have to do here. They down to 6 outs, guys.
It is grinding time, I should say. Thanks, Kevin, as Preston Tucker leads it off in the 8th inning. To be followed by Jonathan Villar and Jose Altuve. Right-hander Mike Morin throwing in the Angels bullpen in left field. But it's been Jared Weaver all the way for the Halos, and he's been really good tonight. He has allowed 5 hits, all singles, and they came in the first 3 innings of the game. The only base runner since then to reach Altuve, and that on an E6 coming in the 6th inning. Altuve has been on base all 3 times, but that running game has been shut down this evening. Two and two the count. In game 2 of the Major League career of Preston Tucker, he's 0 for 2, has flied out and grounded out. And down on strikes. A changeup kind of hung right through the heart of the plate.
3 straight changeups. Tucker went up there and took the first 2 pitches to get to a 2-0 count. And Jared Weaver just continued to throw him that changeup at 75, 76 miles an hour, which is a feat in itself to be able to throw a pitch up there at that rate of speed and get that kind of movement on it.
So 1 out on the strikeout of Tucker. It brings up Villar, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. That's 5 punch-outs on the night recorded by Weaver. And then he'll flip a little curveball in there at 69 miles an hour. Nothing hard, but it has been quite the challenge for the Astros hitters on the evening.
Good pitch.
Spotting both corners, just working off the edges.
Wow, good take.
That's a pitch that could be called a strike. Change up again, and it's becoming a big part of what Weaver's doing now. Weaver wants to see the signs once again. And the 1-2. Check swing, foul ball. You know, you get these nights where a starting pitcher like Weaver, who has not been pitching well, has a good night, and Perez is the young catcher behind the plate, and that can start a reputation for a youngster that says he's really good behind the dish. And you get 1 or 2 pitchers talking about it, could be a real beneficial to a young career. Ground ball back to the mound as Weaver makes the play. And 2 outs in the 8th. And now with 2 outs and the bases empty, Jose Altuve comes to the plate trying to get something started. And realistically, this could be the last time Altuve comes to the plate on the game. Jose 2 for 3.
You figure if the Astros are going to make that late inning push that we keep talking about, it's going to start with this guy right here.
There's that fastball, 85 miles an hour. If you went to a tryout camp, you would never get anybody to take a look at you at that velocity. It just wouldn't happen. Little cutter, a strike called. We're told 15 swings and misses on this stuff tonight, so whatever works. There's a drive hooking down the left field side and foul at the pole. Altuve got the barrel on it, but a little out in front. By the way, Blummer, I mentioned that the Tigers had defeated Kansas City. David Price started, and he got slapped around pretty good, allowing 13 hits. Looper into right field. This is going to be hit number 3 on the night for Altuve. So he's swinging it well. He's 3 for 4, a 2-out single, and it brings up Valbuena. And the Astros need one of those big power swings.
Well, in order to beat some off-speed or slow pitching, you just got to throw the barrel at it sometimes. You see the arms thrown up in the air by Jared Weaver. He's like, what do I got to do to get this guy out?
Well, and I think a lot of people have been saying that. You make a perfect pitch, but Altuve gets a hit. And I wonder how many times that's been said in clubhouse meetings. Don't bother trying to think there's a magic pitch to get Altuve with. It just doesn't exist. Very close pitch called a ball. Valbuena 2 for 3 on his night. And he needs some of these nights. 208 the batting average. Evan Gattis hitting 192. Cesar Ramos now is the left-hander throwing in the Angels' pen.
Just interesting to look at the distribution of pitches over the couple starts that Jared Weaver has had this year. It's almost, he's got 5 pitches, and it's 30% fastball, 20% cutter, curveball, changeup, and then 10% slider. So there's 5 pitches coming at you. But we're seeing him have complete command on both sides of the plate tonight against Astros hitters.
So curveball is swung through. That's funny. You say that about the 5 pitches, but usually when a guy doesn't have a fastball to back up the other pitches, people will say, well, he just doesn't have enough to get major league hitters out. And yet again, we're talking about a guy who won 18 games last year for the Angels. Pitch is hammered high and deep right field. Back goes Calhoun. He's at the wall and makes the catch. Valbuena didn't get all of it, and he certainly needed more than he got. That'll do it. No runs a hit. They leave him in.
Just a fastball to get it over and start this thing off with a strike. Waste one down and in. Good heater up and away with that running fastball. Tried to paint that inside corner with that pitch coming back. But we've seen an excellent changeup when he can get to it from Roberto Hernandez and gets a strikeout with it against Eric Ibar. You get a chance to look at the lines for both pitchers this evening. Good numbers on both sides, just better numbers by Jared Weaver.
Well, it all comes down to the 5th inning. The Angels put their 2 runs on the board in that frame. They had 4 hits and a sac fly, and that's been it. Woo! Diving grab by Valbuena. Line shot hit by Carlos Perez, and a terrific play defensively. Out number 1.
That's what I'm talking about. A third baseman with some athleticism right there to rob Carlos Perez. This is impressive. Airborne. Been pretty active over there at third base tonight. Great play.
He has been challenged. Been given an error on the night on a tough play, but that's a gem. 1 out for Cole Calhoun now, who is 1 for 3. And by the way, Roberto Hernandez is in a bid for a complete game tonight. If he gets through this 8th inning and the Astros don't tie or go ahead, Roberto could come up with a complete game tonight. He's had 8 on his career, and the last one coming back in 2013 while pitching with Tampa Bay. So, pretty strong effort here this evening.
Pitching real well.
Had 4 complete games and a shutout back in 2010 with the Indians. That the one year that he made the All-Star squad. 1-1 the count on Cole Calhoun. That base hit by Calhoun in the 5th inning, a line shot to left field. Well, that changeup is a good one.
It is good. I like that pitch.
Hernandez has certainly shown his value with the club. He had to make this team in spring training, and it was a tough call, but he has proven to be a guy worthwhile being in this rotation. Goes back to the changeup.
Been throwing a good one. That one he just tried to overthrow a little bit.
And back to Valbuena very quickly. He has shown a lot of range down there tonight.
I like him. It's exciting down there.
The 2-2, and now 3-2. Hernandez has not walked a man. They announced a crowd of just over 40,000 here in Anaheim. I don't believe we've seen that many in the ballpark here this evening. Strike 3 called, caught looking Calhoun. That's just the 3rd strikeout on the night for Hernandez, but out number 2 here in the 8th.
The 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is open, and for the first time ever, it's online only. Vote for your favorite Astros today by visiting astros.com/vote.
Take a look at that last pitch. Now, more and more hitters have to realize that pitch is being called a strike now. And I am really glad that the umpires have been being given the information that those pitches are in the strike zone. The pitches down around the bottom of the knees are there as well. Mike Trout 0 for 3 on his night with a strikeout. Trout has that batting average down to 290 now. Of course, he won the MVP award last year while hitting below 300. Some people have said he needs to be the comeback player of the year this year, and that's, of course, a little tongue-in-cheek after being the MVP a year ago. Hit 287 last year, but led the league in RBIs, led the league in runs scored. He also led the league in strikeouts. Struck out 184 times. Fernando Salas is up throwing. Right-hand pitcher for the Angels.
I don't think that strikeout stat means anything to people these days. If you're producing, they'll take the strikeouts that go with it. Much like batting average is becoming maybe a little outdated or overrated. Production, it's all about how many runs you drive in, how many runs you score.
Well, he hit 36 home runs
create.
last year, too, and I think that kind of comes in part with the long ball. I don't know what went on there for Hernandez, and maybe a timeout being called at the plate. But we'll do it again in 1 and 2 on Mike Trout. But Mike Trout is now a 3-time All-Star and hit by the pitch here. So Hernandez still has not walked a man, but hits Trout's speed aboard with 2 outs for Albert Pujols.
It's see Castro. That's what I wanted to see. If Castro was setting up, trying to elevate that fastball, and that's where Mike Trout created those 184 strikeouts, was mostly up in the zone where he has a tough time getting to it. But in doing so, you get a guy who has a sinker. That pitch up in the zone sometimes will run. And that's all it did, was run right into that shoulder of Mike Trout. That baseball will be taken to baseball heaven with a big bruise on it.
Yeah, it will. Hernandez done with his night as the Astros go to the bullpen, but quite an effort. Fair right now at southwest.com. So the Astros go to the bullpen here in the 8th inning. Down a pair of runs, trying to keep it right there. Albert Pujols at the plate as Josh Fields comes in from the pen. 7 2/3. Very good innings from Hernandez.
Well, he pitched extremely well. Josh Fields going to hopefully get him out of this jam right here. 5th appearance for Josh. Great ERA last Tuesday. 2 innings pitched, 3 punch-outs. Good fastball, curveball, occasional changeup.
Runner goes from first. The pitch is strike. The throw down on a hop and kicks away. So it's a stolen base for Trout. He'll head to third on what will be an E2. The Trout, maybe an angry stolen base right there. His 7th, and he has not been caught this year.
How many stolen bases did you say you just had?
7.
He's got 7 of the 11 stolen bases on the season for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim right now. I think there was a little angst and energy behind that stolen base.
Well, he's kind of that good. I mean, he is that much better than a lot of other people. He's at third base. No balls and a strike on Albert Pujols, who is 1 for 3, and now with an 11-game hitting streak. Nice job by Castro.
That's an important run down there at third base for the Angels, too. Last 2 games they've played, they've blown the saves. Houston Street easily probably throwing over 50 pitches in the last 2 nights, so I've got to imagine he's down for the night. Not be able to close for them, having thrown a bunch of pitches and having 2 blown saves. Joe Smith recently has been throwing a lot of pitches. So it's going to be a different part of that bullpen for the Houston Astros to try and make that comeback on.
Fields with the 1-1. 95 on the heater. That's a full 10 miles an hour above the typical fastball from Weaver.
20 miles an hour faster than his curveball and 30 miles an hour faster than his changeup. Or maybe flip that, 20 miles an hour faster than his changeup and about 30 miles an hour faster than his curveball.
It's the one genuine power arm in the Astros bullpen. Curveball hit past the mound. Altuve with that shift on makes the play, and that'll do it. Fields comes in, shuts down the uprising by the Angels. We played 8. It's 2-0 Angels.
Altuve, first inning. First pitch of the game lays down a drag bunt. We haven't seen that in a while. Next time up, his second at bat. Just a nice, easy line drive to left field for a base hit. And that one right there, no answers for Jared Weaver. He tried to get him out on that pitch down and away, but Altuve, all he has to do is get a part of that bat on it, and he's going to end up with a knock. 3 on the evening. Not an extra base hit for the Houston Astros this evening against Jared Weaver, who's out there to finish this thing off.
He'll work with a new left fielder as Colin Cowgill comes into play in left field in place of Matt Joyce. But it's been Jared Weaver's night as he has shut the Astros down on 6 hits. All singles, 3 of them, as Blummer just said, from Jose Altuve, 2 by Luis Valbuena, and 1 from Jason Castro. There's Cowgill in left field. Evan Gattis, Colby Rasmus, and Chris Carter here in the inning. Fouled off just above us and to our right. And a 1-2 count. Strong effort by Roberto Hernandez, but to this point simply has not been enough. But where have we seen this before? 2-0 Angels in the 9th inning. But the strikeout to start it. Six strikeouts for Weaver. Last night it was 2-0 Angels going into the 9th inning, but then it all broke loose for the Astros. Picked up 3 runs and were able to salvage game 1, 3-2. It was Colby Rasmus who got it started last night with a base hit. Colby takes a strike. It's 0-2. In that 9th inning, Rasmus, Carter, Marisnick, and Preston Tucker all had hits. Jose Altuve grounded into a fielder's choice, but it was huge as he legged out the effort for the double play that the Angels were trying to come up with, and that drove in the winning run.
Well, the velocity may not be vintage, but this is a vintage Jared Weaver game.
How about Rasmus showing bunt?
If I'm a third baseman and we're in a shift right now, I'm looking out there, I'm like, go for it. You want to try and waste your at bat laying down a bunt, go for it.
2-2 the count. Colby hits it in the air, but easy for Trout. And 2 outs. So the Astros down to their last out. It brings up Chris Carter, 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts, and both of those looking against Weaver. Jared Weaver has 12 career complete games, 6 career shutouts. So he's trying to add to those totals, and maybe more importantly, trying to win his first game of 2015. The Astros start the night second in the major leagues in home runs. And then you combine that with the fact that Jared Weaver had allowed 8 home runs in 34 innings coming in. And it looked like a golden opportunity for the long ball to be employed by the Astros tonight. It has not worked out that way. Astros slipped right on by. It's 1-2. And now down to a strike. Jared Weaver trying to close it out. Fans in Anaheim on their feet as the changeup is low. The last Jared Weaver complete game came against the Astros last year in May, and it was right here in Anaheim. On the fist, fly ball, easy in left center field. Trout calling and makes the catch. And that does it. So Jared Weaver does win his first on the year A 2-0 shutout. His 13th career complete game, 7th career shutout, and a big night for Jared Weaver and the Angels as they even the series at a game apiece with the Astros. 2 more coming up